Well, hello, welcome. My name is John Cordray, and I'm a national certified therapist, and I'm also the host of the Mental Health Today show. And we're live on YouTube. So thank you for watching on YouTube, and I appreciate you. Want to be talking about what are some signs of depression? What are some things that you can be looking out for if you or someone that you know or love might have depression? What do you do? Uh, First of all, if someone's down, and what are some signs and what not to do. And so I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk about some things that you can do if you or someone that you know has depression. What are some things to look for? Is it even depression in the first place? We don't know. So that's what we want to talk about just for a little bit today. I'm going to be going on Facebook Live later on today as well to talk about this, because I think it's so important that we talk about the signs of depression and really all types of mental health. And so this is what we're doing today. We're talking about depression. Okay, so if you are watching this live, I'm trying something new, which is going on Google Hangouts. So I don't know if I'm able to see comments as I'm in Google Hangouts. So I don't know. I have no idea if I can see comments. So just so you know, if you make a comment, I don't know if I can see them. It's not that I'm ignoring you at all. I'm not that at all. Okay, so let's talk about what are some signs of depression. What are things to look for? You might think, well, am I depressed or am I just sad? Am I just down in the dumps, if you will? And I distinguish between the two terms, depressed and depression. I distinguish depressed would be more of a temporary thing, kind of like being down in the dumps, feeling gloomy. I know here where I live in St. Louis, it is very gloomy, very rainy. We're in the middle of a big flood, and we're trapped in from the flood. And so it could be easy to get down in the dumps or depressed because it's not sunny out. It is gloomy. And so that's different, though, than depression. So depression is what I want to talk more about and focus more about today. So depression is defined mainly on the intensity and duration of how you're feeling. Intensity and duration. So intensity meaning if you could rate on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being really, really, really bad, 1 being not so bad. So if it's really, really bad, that's intensity, right? So really bad for depression might be that you want to just withdraw from everybody. I mean, really withdraw. And you're not answering phone calls or text messages. You're just completely by yourself. You want to just go in your bedroom, put the blanket over you and turn the lights out and just not want anyone to bother you. Or it might even be as extreme as suicidal thoughts that you want to die. And maybe not specific suicidal thoughts, but more of, I wish something would just happen. So maybe you're not really thinking through or have a plan that you really want to hurt yourself by yourself, but you're thinking, well, I wish something would just happen and then I would die and then it's over. So that's pretty severe. That's the intensity of that depression, and it's very real. And if you've never experienced depression before, I assure you it's a very real thing. And I know some people who don't understand depression tend to just gloss over it or think that you can just change your mind all of a sudden or flip a switch, and that doesn't work that way. So if you're watching this, chances are you know what depression's like. You know what it feels like. And so it probably gets frustrated when people say something along the lines of, you just need to get a better mindset. You just need to think positive thoughts. But when you're in that stage of depression and the intensity is so bad, it feels like nothing is going to help you. And so that's the intensity. Now the duration is the length of time, how long you've been in depression. So again, being down in the dumps and being gloomy, that's a kind of a human condition, right? So our emotions tend to go up and down based on our circumstances, and that's really natural. That's part of what makes us emotional human beings. But when it's not natural is when you start feeling that low for a long time and you start to withdraw from everything, you lose interest of things that you once really enjoyed doing, you stop. All of a sudden, you kind of stop hanging out with your friends and withdrawing from everybody. So those are some signs that you might be going into depression. Feeling that's darkness that's around you. It feels like you're in a dark cloud. That might be a sign that you're in depression. And so I just want to encourage you that if you're feeling that down, that low, and your intensity is high and your duration is lasting a long time, I want to encourage you to get help. Reach out. I know the last thing you want to do is wanting to reach out for help, especially if you want to just to avoid everybody. But wanting to avoid everybody is one of the worst things that you can do when you're in depression. When you're trying to maybe hide how you're feeling, or you're trying to ignore how you're feeling, you can't do that when you're in depression. And so when you are struggling and that really you feel like, I just don't want to get up in the morning, I don't want to face my day, I don't want to talk to anybody, that is a sign that you're leading into depression and you need to reach out for help. This is a time where you will have to go beyond what your emotions are trying to tell you and really allow logic to rule you, because you've got to reach out. Reach out to a friend or a family member, or better yet, if you're that depressed and leading into depression, then I would recommend that you contact a therapist. And it may not have to be for a long time, but maybe just to get you through this difficult time in your life. But what you don't want to do is that sadness, that feeling of down in the dumps, you don't want that to lead into depression. You want to stop it before it leads into that. So that's my encouragement to you. If you feel like you or someone that you know might be heading into depression, you want to look for things like a lack of sleep or too much sleep, a lack of eating or too much eating, a withdrawal from family and friends, a lack of energy and fatigue, and feeling like you just want to escape from the world. Those are signs that are leading into depression. And so I would encourage you, that's when you need to reach out. And if you know somebody that you care about, that you think you suspect, or maybe they're getting into depression, maybe they're down in the dumps, feeling is lasting a little too long, and maybe that might be leading into depression, I want to encourage you to go to that person that you're thinking of and say, hey, I am here for you, and I want to help you. Even if I just stay in the same room, just stay in the room. I may not know what the words to say, but at least I can stay in this room with you and I'll help you. And I'm not going anywhere. So saying those encouraging things can be helpful. And if it gets really severe, if someone were to tell you, hey, I just want to die, or I want to, maybe they do tell you that they're cutting or self-harming. Now, those are indications that you want to get help. You want to help them get help. And offer to go with them to their therapy session, to go with them to talk to an adult. But you don't want to do this alone. And if you're that friend or family member that you suspect that person that you know is leading into depression, don't remain silent. Don't just say, well, I don't want to intrude. I don't want to embarrass that person, or whatever. All these different excuses and justifications for not getting help. I want to say, put those aside, put your pride aside, and go and talk to them, even if they're your mom or dad, even if it's somebody that maybe your boss that you're really intimidated from, or maybe they're an authority figure, but you suspect that maybe they're really having a hard time. Just remember, you don't have to have the right words to say, and chances are you're not going to know the right words to say. But I would encourage you to at least go to that person and say, you know what? It looks like you're really down, and I don't know what's going on in your life, but I'm here for you. I want to help you. And I want to do everything I can to be there for you. So don't try to come up with all the right things to say, because you can't. You just can't. You can't make someone be happy all of a sudden, but you can certainly let them know that you care. And sometimes that's all it's needed. Other times, you might need to take more drastic measures and go to the authorities, or maybe even uh, going with that person to a therapist. So those are things that you don't want just to ignore it, right? So the signs of depression are important to know. Don't use this, though, as a way to diagnose yourself, but just more of a guideline to say, there might be something else going on inside me or inside someone else that I know, that I don't want this to lead into depression. And you got to do something right away. Don't put it off, because it may not go away. And then, in fact, if you keep putting it off, it might get worse. So my encouragement to you is, if you believe that you or someone that you know has depression, or maybe they're leading into depression, I want to encourage you to do something about it. Go to that person, talk to them, or if you're the one that might be leading into depression, take that step and reach out for help, and say, somebody that you trust, someone that you care about, and they care about you, and say, I am really struggling right now. I need someone that I can lean on. I need someone that I can talk to without feeling judged. So that's my encouragement to you. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you for watching. And if you would I would love for you to share this out to your friends, because this is a message I want to get out there. I want to help people. If you're not already subscribing to the channel, please do so. Love to have you be a part of this community on YouTube. Again, my name is John Cordray. I'm a national certified therapist. I'm also the host of the Mental Health Today show. I have a podcast on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and just about anywhere a podcast you can listen to, I'm there. So just type in the Mental Health Today show. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you for watching. And if you're really down and you feel like you're depressed and actually in depression, then I want to encourage you to take action and take care of yourself. Okay? All right. I'm going to let you go. Thank you for watching. I appreciate that. Again, this is my first time I'm using Google Hangouts for YouTube Live. Don't know how it's going to work. If you've been watching and if you've tried to make comments, I didn't see them. So I don't know if that's just what happens on Google Hangouts. I don't know. Anyway, thanks. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.